April 28th, 2023. Believe it or not, it started up again today with everything. Dave's already confessed. It took him 4 years to confess. It was him and some guy named Pete before. Only. He's not my pimp. He cannot hire a stalker while we're out, have him kick in our door, vandalize our property, set up button cameras, and watch me. It's not admissible. I have a right to privacy in my home, a right to remain quiet, a right to an attorney. He can't have me stalked. He goes to jail for hiring a stalker. So if I didn't die, he could frame me. And he got messed up with the big drug cartel that was down here. I'm telling you, where I lived on John Thomas Road, the house afterwards was a duplex. A old lady on my side and a group of men on the other side. I think that's was the drug dealers, because what's ESOP? They were making fun of me for notes I kept in my phone. That's probably where I found him. He cannot hire some guy named Pete to kick in my door while we're gone, set up button cameras and watch me. He can't have that man date rape drug me, lie they have sodium pentothal reports, and beat and rape me under drugs, leave me sore, beaten, bruised, and I'm throwing up and not know where the marks are coming from and why I'm having headaches, dizzy, short of breath. My heart was racing after I'd wake up and throwing up and not know what was wrong with me. That is not admissible against me, but he goes to jail for that, for human trafficking, having me raped, having me beat under drugs, and lying they had sodium pentothal reports and they were date rape drugging me, and having me stalked. He goes to jail for his confession. He confessed to our son Danny on April 15th or 16th, where I had talked to Shay, Gabe's girlfriend, my grandson's girlfriend, about somebody stalking some guy named Eric they were looking for, and he came in and confessed. I hope they get him, because if they said they put a shower scene in the other room and date rape drugged me, and I told her how sick I was, I had marks, she's like, this is creepy. I said, it's real creepy. I said, and if they have a shower scene and they put it in another room, they have porn. You realize of you, Jen's like, well, I hope I'm guessing. You don't realize they have porn of Dave. They have porn of everybody, trying to let them know that they have kiddie porn. And trying to, without freaking them completely out of everything that asshole did to me. And I'm trying to let her know, there's a wanted stalkers out there, and some guy came in and confessed and got high. I told her that, and I hope they get him. You know what's really sad? With the next day, because November 1822, Eric came in and confessed all the tapes at Walmart 62 by the hair salon. Okay? 2 to 6 p.m. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to do it, my idea to come up with it, my idea to say it, for all these people to turn on her, and they actually fell for it. Ha, 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 ha. And they're confessing. And she's like, this is creepy. And you see a man standing in the woods in one of my pictures in July 1st. She's like, this is really creepy. I said, I know it. I hope they get him. Okay, because they were really messing with me, talking about being dizzy, throwing up, all those things, and have marks on me. And everybody's seen him. Okay? And even the neighbor had to help me mow the lawn. I almost passed out outside. Whatever they were giving me, after it wore off, my heart was racing. I was short of breath, dizzy, headache, and almost passing out and throwing up. It left you with those side effects. Well, there's a good chance date rape drugged Eric and told him go in and confess, because he came in, all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it, for all these people to turn on her. Ha, 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 ha. Well, if it was only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad, and they still fell for it. And he'd been warned a stalker. So where I have a long talk with Shay and Jen, the next day on April 16th, 2023, about 4 or 5 in the evening, after her mother's memorial service, because she had passed away last month, they had a memorial service for her. I go to leave. Shay and Gabe walk up to Danny and Jen. They're across the parking lot. My car's bugged from the case. It'll pick up parking lots away. And Gabe said, I heard what she said to Shay. None of this is funny. He said, I know, I called my dad. He said it was actually had some guy named Pete up there taping her before. Hired a stalker. It was him. And he was the one doing it to her before. And Pete had it set up. She could never get any money out of this. Pete doesn't even have anything admissible. Neither does Dave. He admitted to hiring a stalker, having me drugged, beat, and raped. He was the one doing it. He admitted it to Danny. His phone is tapped from the case, the protected custody case. They have his confession that it was him hiring some guy named Pete to pimp me out and beat me, drug me, and rape me. And in stocking tapes, Photoshop shower scenes where they had the drug dealers help out in this, that they had Photoshop shower scenes, date rape drug confessions, lied they had sodium pentothal reports, so you're high walking around. Don't know what you're doing for 4 to 6 hours. You're under someone else's control. That's how they got Dara out of the bar. My one coworker was grieving over a loss of a baby. Her friends take her out, and she starts to take a drink out of a drink, started acting happy. A group of people she didn't know walked up and said, "Let's go," and they took her. She didn't know she left with them. She didn't know anything. Woke up in a puddle of pee. Throwing up, dizzy, messed up for a whole day. Sound familiar? Found out 2 months later she was pregnant. She said, "The last thing I wanted was another baby. It's not like I don't love my son, but I don't remember anything." They had raped her. You're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. There's over 300 drugs that will make you sleepwalk with no memory, under somebody's control. He can't do that to me. He can't hire a stalker to stalk me. It's not admissible in court. You have a right to privacy over your own home. I was on that title. I live there. Do you know even if somebody's staying there, they have a right to privacy in that home, and they don't have a right. Those people don't have a right to set up button cameras stalking them. Photoshopping shower scenes, letting them watch me naked in the shower, and then Photoshop that shower scene in the other room, trying to frame me. Date rape drugged me and tell over 10 people they drugged me and told me to say whatever it is before. And people went to the police. And now to find out it was just Dave on his own with some guy named Pete doing it, he finally confessed to Danny. And they think they have it set up. I can't get no money. It's not even admissible. Because all the police, nobody had a right in your home to watch you before. See, there's a protection over the house. You have the right to be safe and secure in your own home. Your husband or boyfriend cannot hire one of his friends or drug dealer to kick in your door, set up button cameras, and stalk you. It's not admissible. Let alone they're the ones trying to kill you, and for them to get away with it, they've date rape drug you, lie they have sodium pentothal reports, and so you're sleepwalking to frame you, and you never, ever talk to anybody. You just had bruises, and then you start getting a yeast infection that will not go away. And you didn't have it before, and you weren't sick till you moved into that house. You were fine. That's how not funny this is. And to find out that sick SOB was letting those men rape me, where I had all those marks, they were beating me under drugs. He knew that was happening in his home and was orchestrating it, thinking he's some kind of mafia lord. He's nothing but a piece of crap. He's a sick, psychotic bastard. Nothing they have on those tapes are admissible. He can't hire a stalker to drug me up and a hitman, beat, rape me, drug me, and frame me for him to get away with murder. And the drug dealers, where they were involved, they would get high and confess to people. They drugged her and told her to say it before. February 2nd, 22 Burlington Coat Factory, a Latino guy in front of my one client, that he admitted that he drugged me and told me to say it before. People ran in Save-A-Lot, ran out of their houses on 6th Street. He's like, "This is crazy, Karen." And I'm trying to ignore the whole big fiasco. And I said, "Who's crazy?" He's like, "These people, they admit to drugging you and telling you to say it before. I seen that Latino guy." And I'm like, and he said, "They admit to raping you in stores." My ex-husband sitting back laughing like Satan himself. Had a big drug cartel that's down here human trafficking people. Hired him to help hurt me. Fake FBI badges. April 14, 22. Food for Less on Whipple. Canton investigators are looking into this. It's sick what's going on. They had a man pretend he was FBI. It was a stunt for Dave to confront her in the truck before she called him back. They had people pretend to be her kids, bad-mouthing her. We asked her kids, they didn't know anything about it. And it's just been people hurting her the whole time. This whole thing's sick. See, where Dan even said to Gabe and all them, I called Dad, said some agent went up to that church, was asking him questions about the threat on our life. And he said he was looking into it on his own. See, that's the whole thing. I called the hotline, and then they drugged me up so bad I couldn't get out of bed to call Will back. So how much you want to bet that was Pete on his own with a fake FBI badge, or Will super corrupt? One of the two. Because you call the hotline, they don't tell. You know when they tell the FBI is involved? When they go to arrest you. Because they could always, police officers could have went up there. Because Kitty's leaving threats in the mall that they're trying to kill me, and there's a couple towns. See, either Will was very corrupt, or more likely, that was Pete on his own pretending he's FBI. See, these drug cartels, they have a lot of fake FBI badges. Dave already knew. And then the churches knew from that cheap stunt. It's been Dave and some guy named Pete on his own framing me before. Where they say Karen's Will did it. It wasn't Karen's Will. Some guy named Pete that Dave hired to frame me. To Photoshop shower scenes, May 12th, 22, May 26th, 22 at noon, one at Bubba's Restaurant, one at KFC, edit the Oakland apartment, December 9th, 21, 4 p.m., everything was drugged in Photoshop, December 9th, 21, white men bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force. There's only 4 or 5 volunteers, can't found them. Everything was drugged in Photoshop. The client on Shepler Church Road, the house before hers, they told her that everything was drugged and photoshopped and made up on me. They all went to the Canton Police and investigators. And they were around when that Latino guy admitted to drugging me and told me to say it before. They told the Department of Disability January 19, 22, 11 o'clock in the morning I was drugged and told to say it before. They were around for March 24, 22, 1:30. You framed her before? Yeah, we framed her before. Shame on you. I know, I wish we wouldn't have done it. Those people even raped her. And then you go back, there's an African-American lady in November, admitted that they made everything up and everything was them and not me in November 2nd or 3rd and Save-A-Lot on Whipple. And then you go to May 25th, 21, 6 p.m. at Wendy's in Louisville, the church people breaking in before drugging me to say weirdo stuff. And then 1295 Fairlawn apartment, a little old lady screamed out. That little old lady talked to several people. And so did a lot of other people. And talked to the police and people with badges. They already know I'm drugged and framed in stocking tapes. And they thought it was some guy named Eric and Steve, some stalkers the church has hired. And here Dave confessed. It was him with some guy named Pete on his own. And hire those drug cartels. He's in so much trouble. He cannot hire a stalker and a hitman to frame his wife, drug her, beat her, rape her. Photoshop scenes and stocking tapes inside a home. It's not admissible. He goes to jail. For his confession, it took him 4 years. Now, where I called FBI, okay, and I couldn't get out of bed because they drugged me up so bad. Then that guy pretending to be Will, that wasn't Will telling on me. Dave, it's already proven they already knew before I called them back. Now, if the FBI did not find out, they already knew. When they went up to do their surveillance tapes, if they didn't find their cameras in my home and the smoke detectors, what's wrong with them? Or did they not know who did it? Yeah. See, this is where it's getting to where have they not been doing their job? But they did have Dave's phone tapped, and they did have me under surveillance, and that agent did open a real protected custody case. So they already knew if they didn't know about what happened at Paymer, they didn't do research. Because they have talked about it over the years. Dave and the churches already knew. This was Dave and some guy named Pete, some hitman he hired to frame me if I didn't die. It's not admissible against me. There's not one thing on that tape. And on top of it, they've admitted to everything that they did, from photoshopping everything to date rape, drugging everything. And that's where November 18, 22, 2 to 6 p.m., Eric comes in, high as a kite. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to say it, my idea to do it. For all these people turn on her, and they actually fell for it. Ha, 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 ha. Well, it wasn't Eric. It was some guy named Pete Dave hired to frame me. Drug me, beat and rape me, he human trafficked me. He's not my pit, the dirty SOB. And to do such vile, and then he's still touching me. That's where it's sick. He was still touching me after this man had beat and raped me in a drug cartel and had drugged and beat his poor wife until she's throwing up and sick and migraines. And I had infection in my personal area. And I had to be treated all summer. I talked to the nurse yesterday. Yeah, you were treated for all that. Thought I was anemic and told me to go buy B2 or B12. I want you to think, and here I'm being drugged out of my... I told her what they did, what they were saying was causing it. She said, your ex-husband is a sick, disgusting animal, and we're glad you got away from him. Most women aren't that lucky. When they go to that extreme, they don't get away from him alive. Nothing he has on those tapes is admissible. See, then this is the FBI's fault because they didn't bother to find out and nailed Dave 4 years ago. And if that agent knew he had somebody stalking me, date rape drugging me, photoshopping scenes, and having me human trafficked and raped, and they were sex trafficking videos of me and Dave in bed to other people, and he didn't stop it, and with them admitting they were taking shower scenes, they had cameras in the bathroom. They were taping and dispensing kiddie porn of my grandkids using the bathroom. Do you realize how much trouble these people are in? Some guy walked by my apartment late last night. My apartment's bugged from the case. I heard he told on me. Now, none of this is funny, and people need to realize somebody's crazy husband that wants his wife dead hires a hitman to kick in her door and frame her if she don't die. They even admitted to framing. They admitted they photoshopped the shower scene and they date rape drugged me and told me to say whatever it is. Do you know when the case first started, people come up and say, you said this, you said that. I never talked to anybody. I spent half the day debunking it. That was their permanent plan to do away with me. Stalk me, Photoshop me, date rape, drug me so I'm sleepwalking. Like I said, with it not being Eric, they roofied him and told him to go in and confess and frame that man. You're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours under their control. Stalking tapes are not admissible. The police cannot even look or listen to them. All of them said nobody had a right in their home before. It's a right to privacy over the house. You can't set up button cameras stalking somebody. You go to jail and it's not admissible against them. And they're so far altered. The nurse at Mercy Medical, March 13, 21, the only thing they had you on was adjusting yourself. The guy said, that's sick. She said, no, it's really funny. She just simply wiped off some water with clothes on. He said, that's sick. He said, no, it's really funny. She just adjusted herself. A simple action of just wiping something off to a shower scene in the other room. And then where I had bruises, hand marks, throwing up, they have date rape, drug confession. They're fake sodium pentothal reports. This has been with Dave confessing to Danny. He goes to jail for it, and so does that guy Pete. It's like if you're stupid enough to put your name on, oh, he has it set up, she can never get any money because they date rape, drugged me and supposed to tell me weirdo stuff. I'm not in trouble for that. I never sat down with Pete. Dave defended me in the protected custody case. Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids. You wouldn't hurt anyone. My one ex-daughter-in-law that goes to his church had the kids make up a mean game of pretend on Thanksgiving of 18. And they got caught in protected custody. They wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa. And later on to Flora, they made everything up. And they were giggling and laughing at 6 games of pretend. October 23rd, 2019, Flora, my other granddaughter that was playing with them, ratted them out laughing. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend, where the police said they'll make up something, call you a bad word. It was really sick shit. October 5th, 21, Huntington Bacon from my one client. They said, we don't want Melissa getting no money out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. They're documented being jokes. Melissa can go to jail for an accessory to this, saying that she had all that done to me. She wants to go to life in federal. Dave's looking at life in federal for hiring that stalker, admitting they drugged me, they raped me, they beat me, and they sold videos and sex trafficked videos of me and him. And then they obtained and dispensed kiddie porn, and that he was having me raped. That's human trafficked. And beat under drugs. That's attempted murder. He's looking at life in federal. Anybody stupid enough to put their name on any of this, where on earth, in God's green earth, would anybody think that they should even be able to get a dime out of somebody's crazy husband that's trying to kill this wife? Kicks in a door, has a stalker kick in a door, start stalking her, start date rape drugging her, beating her, raping her, sex trafficking videos of him and her, obtaining and dispensing kiddie porn, having that poor woman beat and raped under drugs, and the poor thing sore, infected, has marks all over and throwing up and doesn't know what's wrong with her. And you think you should get money out of somebody drugging the hell out of me so I'm sleepwalking? You go to jail for an accessory. That's life. You know, people in 21 were walking around me. These people are admitting to heinous crimes. They're admitting to kidnapping her. They're admitting to attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon. They're admitting to human trafficking me, sex trafficking videos of me and my family and my ex-husband. They're obtaining and dispensing kiddie porn. They're admitting to stalking me. I'm not in trouble for one thing, and not one thing is admissible, and they already know I'm framed. People are stupid. Stupid. And you know, if February 7th, 22, Becky, the laundromat lady in Louisville, I took her up to Giant Eagle, and investigators were calling Mel's kids that got caught stating they were lying on Thanksgiving 18 fucking lying, dirty little bastards. Investigators have never called them nice words. We go outside and by the little AutoZone, we go to get in my car. There's two guys, and they said, Will did this to her. And said, no, Will did little with the case and left it on his desk. Well, hell was breaking loose. He didn't bother. I didn't believe Will was real, where I had called the hotline and he called me back and he was rude and then listed me informant, $5,000 a month. And then, you know, threatened me. I didn't think he was real. I thought he was a rebrief from my ex-husband. So I Googled where he said he was, the Starr County FBI Task Force in the courthouse in Canton. I found him there. Lady answers the phone, and she yells out where he was outside threatening Dixie and the baby's life. He got on the phone. They yell out, Will, he's got a list. I'm working on it. He heard Dave threaten Dixie and the baby's life, and then there was a text. And he did little with the case, and the biggest case was sitting on his lap. Drug traders, human traffickers, not just an occult threatening somebody's life. He had the biggest case in the world to solve some other lady's family member's murder, saying people already killed her. Huh? He had those people. Henry Moffey was here. The Detroit boys, the Kingsmen. A big human trafficking scam at Storm is setting up. And swirling around me, and my exes messed up with them. Using them to hurt me. And they hacked into the protected custody case and made millions. And they were down here drug trading and stealing people and killing them. And he left me on his desk. I went out to eat with this one guy on January 20th, 23. He said, I have a friend on the local police department. They're using that case to get these people that the agent opened on with you. He said they knew about the Texas group involved in your case. I said, oh, the Kingsmen. Is that what they called themselves? There was a retired judge in Texas involved in this big human trafficking scam. And he said they went down to talk to him and he killed himself. There's another judge in another state. The police aren't releasing a lot of information. And they're going to try to get these guys. They're using your case. They found 35 people tied up and kicked in a railroad car they had taken. And that was January 20th, 2023, and February 14th, the sheriffs and the marshals did an 800 people sweep across the nation and got 188 out of Ohio messed up in them. That agent had the biggest case in the world in his lap. They went on to take Marlisa's niece. My house manager, they tried to grab Kara. They took the girl at the ATM. They took a 15-year-old that was 135, blonde, 5'3". They kept saying they wanted that description. Took a 15-year-old kid. They've been grabbing other people out of this area. It's a big human trafficking scam. But that agent actually opened a case. Had an officer talk to Dave. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. Nothing else is admissible. You can't stalk somebody. It's not admissible. It's entrapment. It's illegal search and seizure. They can't even look or listen. It don't matter what's on that tape. They could have told me to say I was a Satan worshiper. Would it be true? No. They could have, I've heard you, they told you to say you're a flasher, you hurt everyone in your life, and none of that's true. I'm not a flasher. I never hurt anybody. I laid my life down and let these bastards go after me. When Dave said, Karen, realize I'll kill everything you ever loved in life. Realize I'll kill it. And I thought, over my dead body, you'll go through me first. And where people are all saying that they're working for Dave, I started taping along with the police and got my own witnesses. My case come from that case that agent opened. And these people hacked into that protected custody case and sold police information. My ex-husband's messed up. Henry Maffey was here, tried to get a hold of me through Instagram in the first month of, he thought I was beautiful, and then people were talking about him around me. And he was in even the bars in Louisville with the Detroit Boys and the Kingsmen from Texas. There was a gang from New York here. There was someone from Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, the Florida plates. There was a guy from Washington State, looked like Alan from Home Improvement. There's people from California. There was someone from West Virginia, and now where they sold the login, it went viral. Some good people showed up. There was a couple with kids showed up and tried to get those drug traders to let them have me, and then they take me home and they'd hide me, and they said you can't have her, and I kept walking away because I was afraid they'd hurt him. They finally disappeared. I hope they didn't take him. Some little old guy from Illinois showed up and was trying to help work extra security where it went viral. There was plates from Michigan. And they got a lot of them. Nothing these people have is admissible. And for them to run around from some sick satanic person that is hurting his wife and hiring a stalker to frame her for him to get away with murder if she don't die. It's not admissible. But for his admission, it was him and some guy named Pete. Do you realize what kind of pieces of crap these people are? Dave tried to have me killed. He hired a stalker, a hitman, to kick in my door and frame me. These drug dealers even admitted to frame me March 24, 22, 113. You framed her before? Yeah, we framed her for. They've ran around bragging that they drugged me, told me to say stuff. They admitted to photoshopping everything, photoshopping shower scenes, and stalking tapes that aren't admissible. And these people are like, well, we get some money out of it, right? No, you don't get nothing but federal prison for putting yourself in vile, disgusting crimes. I was at the park yesterday. Some kid said, there she is. Should I say a word? He said, no, we already heard what that sick bastard did to her. They were talking about where Danny was talking to Gabe and Shay. They heard it clear into Maslin. Investigators said no one's allowed to say a word. We found out it was Dave with some guy named Pete on their own doing it before. Yeah, it's not admissible. They can't even look at it. Your husband or boyfriend that you live with cannot hire someone to set up button cameras and stalk you. You have a right to be safe and secure in your own places and homes. They cannot button camera stalk you. It's illegal. And it's not admissible. And then where they're trying to have you killed, Photoshop, shower scenes, date rape, drug confessions, and lie, they have sodium pentothal reports. So where people are running around saying Karen's will, it's some guy named Pete on his own. My ex-husband hired for a hitman to frame me. And he admitted it. I'm not in trouble, and they can't look at it. But for his confession, he can go to jail. And so who would be stupid enough to even make fun of me for some psychotic ex-husband where he's trying to get rid of me, his permanent plan to do away with me, of hiring some drug addict to kick in my door, stalk me, Photoshop scenes, date rape drug me, lie they have sodium pentothal reports, beat confessions out under drugs, and then rape me and leave me sore, infected, bruised, throwing up, dizzy, my heart's racing, and I can't get my breath after I wake up for a while. Now, if they drug me up really bad, I don't get in trouble for that, and nothing they have is admissible. And like I said, I think they had to frame Eric because he went in and confessed. For all the tapes before were me and not her, was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it, for all these people to turn on and they fell for it. Ha 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 ha. And to find out it was some guy named Petey and hired on his own, they framed Eric. So you're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours and there's 300 date rape drugs that you walk, you talk, and you're wide awake with no memory. They're amnesia drugs. They're date rape drugs. There's 300 of them. They can put in combinations. And you'll be wide awake in a human zombie. That's how they grab people out of bars and restaurants, and they go willingly participate in things and do what they're told, and they have no idea. It's very, very illegal. And for him to be messed up in that drug cartel with fake FBI patches and selling police information, he's going to be going to jail a long time. I'm going to go ahead and upload this.